Hey guys, this is Eric with OzoneTCG. Today we're taking a look at Budget Ignister, a deck profile in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. This deck is very cheap to build, and we just wanted to go ahead and showcase it for you guys today. If you guys like the video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more Master Duel content. Let's get into the deck profile. So first off, we have Hayari Ignister. If you control an Ignister monster, you can special summon it from the hand. It's really just an extender for the deck. Then we have Doshin. If you control an Ignister, you can special summon it from the hand as well. And you can target a Cyber Link monster to the graveyard, return it to the extra deck, and if you do, add an Eye level Fusion from your deck to your hand. You can only use each effect once per turn. Again, just an extender. We don't play Eye Love Fusion. You can, though, in this deck. That's not a problem whatsoever. They are very cheap cards to obtain. Same with Achichi. Achichi is going to go ahead and add any of your level 4 or lower Ignister monsters from your deck to your hand. The other effect doesn't really matter too much, but may come up sometimes. And of course we have the one Ash Blossom. As I say in every video, please get the Ash Blossom bundle. It is a fantastic kind of bundle. Yeah, we do play the one Ash Blossom. This is a going second deck. You can see later we play some going second cards specifically because we do not want to go first in this deck. This deck does not do too much when you are going first, but going second, it is very strong. And then we have Baruru Ignister. If it's no more special summon, you can send an Ignister monster from the deck to the graveyard. This combos with your Doshin. It also combos with potentially your Hayari. Yeah, you play this also, it is a tuner. You can go ahead and synchro summon using this card as well. Since the graveyard for the synchro summon of a Cyber monster, target a monster in a graveyard that was used for this synchro summon, except itself, and special summon that monster. Fantastic Foolish Burial effect. And of course we have Pikari at Ignister. You can, if it's normal or special summon, you can add an Eye spell or trap from your deck to your hand. The Eye spells and traps are the complementary cards from the Vrains anime that go along with the Ignister monsters. So yeah, and then you can target an Ignister monster. It becomes level 4, so this allows you to make a rank 4 toolbox. So we can talk about that in a little bit. And then we have Doyon Ignister. If it's special or normal summon, you can target an Ignister monster in the graveyard, add it to the hand, and if it's sent to the graveyard as material for a link summon of a Cyber monster, you can target an Eye spell or trap from the graveyard and add it to the hand. Yeah, so you combo, you use, say, one of your search cards, your Monster Reborns that you have in the deck, and then you can add it back using Doyon. Yeah, very strong card too. And then we have Dunmaria at Ignister. Really, the first effect is not super relevant. If an attack is declared, especially from hand, negate the attack. It acts like a Altergeist Kunquiri. In case you guys don't know that card, does basically the same thing. They all function similarly. All these Vrains anime decks do function similarly. Yeah, and then really the effect we want to look at is while you control a Link 6 monster, you can banish it from the field or graveyard, target a face-up card your opponent controls, not just monster, card, and negate its effects until the end of the turn. They activate something like Lightning Storm to destroy your card, or Torrential Tribute to blow up your field. You can chain that, and yeah, it negates the card effect. Very strong. We only need to play one though. You can foolish it off of one of your other monsters, and a couple of your other combos ended up foolishing it or adding it to the hand. So yeah. And then we play 6 Kaijus. We play Radiant and Gadarla because they have the lowest attack. We just want to tribute over the opponent's monsters that are causing some problems, and yeah, attack over because most of our larger Link monsters have higher attack as well. And then we have Gachiri Ignister. The first effect, we're not going to ever really summon this card, besides just for the Link Summon effect. If it's sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target a face-up monster. You control that card, that target is unaffected by the opponent's card effects until the end of the turn. You can make your access code unaffected by card effects, and it can attack twice. So basically you kill that turn. That's why we play that card. And then we have, of course, Regeki. You get it from the solo mode. Play the solo mode to get this card. Same with Monster Reborn. The most expensive card in the main deck is going to be Signet Mining. You send a card from your hand, that's any card, doesn't have to be a monster, and add a level 4 or lower Cyber monster from your deck to your hand. You can only activate 1 per turn. This is the only ultra rare that you have to buy on your own. You have to generate it or pull it from pack. The others you can get from either bundles or from the solo mode. You do need to play 3 of this though. This is the only really expensive card in the main deck because it searches all of your level 4 or lower Ignister monsters. So all but 2 of your Ignister monsters. Yes, it is a strong search effect that we need to absolutely play. You want to get that maximum consistency in this deck. Even though that the other cards do add this, you know, you're playing 6 copies of Achichi, and you're playing 6 copies of Pikari. you want to see one of those 2 cards in your opening hand every single game. Yeah, you need to play that, but it's the only really expensive card, thankfully. Yeah, and then we have Lightning Storm. You get this from the other bundle, in addition to Ash Blossom. Definitely get the Lightning Storm bundle. If you don't have that, feel free to play another Interruption card, pull anything else. Very good going first, or, versus going first decks. Yeah, because we are always going to try and go for a second. Yeah, and then AI Contact, Eye Contact. If Ignister Island is in your field zone, we'll talk about that in a second. You can reveal an Ignister Island in your hand, place it on the bottom of the deck, and if you do, draw 3 cards. This is a very powerful effect that allows you to draw more cards into your extenders or kaijus or board breakers. You definitely need to play at least one of this because it is searchable by Picari. One of your monsters actually searches this card. Picari can also search it, but one of your link monsters searches the field spell. So if you already have your Ignister Island, the field spell, in your hand, you can put it on the bottom of the deck so you'll never draw it with this card effect, and you get to draw 3 for effectively nothing. And if you have your standard combo and you want to search this, you absolutely can if you feel like mulliganing your hand to draw those 3 cards, because your Link 1 does search Ignister Island. Alrighty, and then we have I Beat You, and then you reveal a Cyber monster with 2300 attack in your hand or extra deck and add Ignister with the same attribute. Usually you will want to reveal your Link 3 Fire, because then it searches a Chi-Chi. Or you could reveal Light Dragon to search Picari. Yeah, it's another consistent card. Functions almost the exact same way as Silent Mining. Yeah, you do need to play this. It is a super rare, but it is not too bad to actually get this because it is one of only 6 super rares, or half of the super rares that we play in the main deck. Very good card. And then we have Fighting Spirit. It is a monster reborn that is searchable. It also protects one of your cards. Yeah, we've just played for the reborn effect. We play, 3 copies of Monster Reborn, so 1, 2, and then we'll get to this one. It's the same thing, exact same text. You can only special summon Cyberus monsters with the other one though, but it is a quick play, so you can use it in your opponent's end phase as well if you happen to not, reduce their life points to 0 in that turn. Still good card because it is searchable again by Picari. Picari is very, very strong in this deck because of its ability to search half of your deck. And then of course we have the Star Spell, Ignister Island. If you control no monsters in your main monster zone, you can special summon a level 4 or lower Ignister monster from your hand, but you cannot special summon monsters with the same attribute by the effect of Ignister Island. Also, you can't special summon monsters except Cyberus monsters after you resolve its effect. So you just keep, it's not once per turn either. That effect is not once per turn. If it's in the graveyard, you can banish an Ignister monster from graveyard, set it. So if they say Ghost Ogre or MST, your Ignister Island, you can just set it right back. This card is the heart and soul of the deck. You absolutely need to play 3 of these, and really you could play Terraforming if you have Terraforming as well, just the one of to search this card. You want to see this in every single hand. You need to. The reason being is because it kickstarts all of your combos. You go a Chi-Chi search Picari, or Picari search I Meet You, and then I Meet You gets your Chi-Chi, because that starts all of your Link climbing combos. Yeah, you need to play 3 of these. Thankfully, it's only a super rare, so you will have it more often than not, generally speaking, than ultra rares. Yeah, let me play Mystical Space Typhoon. If you saw our budget staples deck guide and list, you would know that Mystical Space Typhoon is a very strong card to purchase for basically nothing. You don't really need too many gems or packs to really get a playset of Mystical Space Typhoon. If you have Twin Twisters or Cosmic, play those instead. Or if you feel like this card's better, play this card. This card is very, very good, especially versus backrow decks. Striker, this deck does have a difficult time versus Striker if you don't draw Kaiju, so we do have MST for that instead. Just a really good generic card. Same with Forbidden Child. Functions just like a budget impermanence. If we have impermanence, I would also play that too. You just want as many effect negations as possible in this deck. Yeah, I mean, that's really it. They're generic cards. Of course, we talked about Isle Reborn. Exact same thing. Has a recursion effect that doesn't come up too often, because we're usually using this either during our turn or during your opponent's end phase, or to protect yourself during the battle phase. Yeah, so then we'll move over to the extra deck. We have Wind Pegasus Ignister, negate or return spells and traps up to the number of other Ignister monsters you control. The banish in the graveyard effect, that is what we want to use the most. You can banish it from the graveyard target a card the opponent controls, and shuffle it into the deck if one of your cards is destroyed by battle or card effect. Doesn't necessarily have to be your monsters too. Very strong card. You can also synchro summon it. You don't do that too often in this deck. You're usually foolishing versus, say, a Dogmatica deck. Yeah, and then we have Light Dragon. This is one of the best monsters in the extra deck. You definitely want to pick this up. Even if you're not playing Ignister deck, it is generic. You can detach materials from it, destroy face-up monsters up to the number of Ignister monsters you control. It includes itself. If you have 5 Ignister monsters, you can destroy 5 monsters the opponent controls. And then if it would be destroyed by battle or card effect, by card effect, you can detach a material from it instead. And then if another Cyberse monster inflicts damage, you can special summon a Link monster from your graveyard. Sometimes they'll come up, but really we use it for the destruction effect. Definitely pick that up. You do need to play this card as well for the deck. And then Link Spider you get in the structure deck. It's after getting Nibiru. You can special summon more of your Link monsters, and it puts a monster in the extra monster zone to combo with Ignister Island. Yeah, that's all really. This is also probably the best Link monster in the extra deck. If it's Link summoned, this is Dark Infant Ignister. If it's Link summoned, you can add an Ignister Island from your deck to your hand. That's really the only relevant effect. You can move it. That's used in one of the Dark Templar combos, which we can always cover another time. Yeah, this is the heart and soul of your extra deck. You absolutely need to play at least 2 of these. Again, it's a super rare, so and most of these cards are either super ultra, so this is where the majority of your gems are going to go to. But you do need to play at least 2 of these because you do summon at least 2 each game. Yeah, it requires just your non-Ignister monsters. That's why we play at least 6 to 9 copies of each Ignister monster, or your main 2 Achichi and Pikari, because we absolutely need to see those to summon this guy every single turn because they generate advantage on their own. Then we have Security Dragon. Once while it's on the field, you can target a monster the opponent controls, return to the hand if it's co-linked. So you can go like Link Spider, or Update Jammer if Security Dragon's in the extra monster zone. Bounce a card and then summon a Link 4 with Security Dragon and Update, or a Link 3 with Link Spider and Security. Yeah, really it's just for the bouncing, and it requires any 2 monsters. It doesn't have to be specifically Cyberse, doesn't have to be specifically effect monsters either. It is a Cyberse though, because we are Cyberse locked usually. Just a strong option in case you have that. And then we have Cyberse Wicked. Can't be destroyed by battle or card effects once Link summoned. And then Cyberse monster points, you cannot be destroyed by card effects either. If it's special summoned, this is actually how you search our Baruru. And then you can later summon it using one of the other monsters. You can actually search it if a monster points to, you banish if it points to special summon. So while in the extra monster zone, you special summon Ignister monsters to a zone it points to, and then add your Baruru. Yeah, by banishing a Cyberse monster. Yeah, this is a very, very potent Link 2, and it is also generic because it only requires 2 Cyberse monsters. You definitely need to play this. It's very cheap because it is rare. Speaking of cheap, Update Jammer. This allows you, really the relevant effect is that if it's sent as Link material to the graveyard, the Link monster that it was used to summon can make a second attack during the battle phase. So you can go ahead and attack with your access code twice, and that is usually over 10,000 attack. You're usually killing your opponent if you get that successful access code talker summon. Yeah. And Splash Mage, again, 2 Cyberse monsters. We play basically a toolbox deck for the extra deck. You can target a Cyberse monster in the graveyard, special summon in defense position, negates effects. Also, you cannot special summon except 4 Cyberse monsters. This is crack for the deck. Exactly why you play 2. I would play 2, at least. I wouldn't necessarily play 3. You can, but you definitely need to play at least one of these because you do use them quite often. It just gets into a Link 3 or potentially a Link 4. Yeah, with some of the other cards you play. But very strong card. Speaking of which, Transcode Talker, this is actually how you use Splash Mage. You summon Splash Mage and one of your monsters in your graveyard to summon your Transcode Talker. Transcode Talker summons back your Splash Mage or Update Jammer, and Update Jammer Transcode Talker into Access Code. Usually will be game. Yeah. Very powerful card. I'm going to talk about Access Code Talker as well. You guys should have this card. Please, if you're going to buy a generic Link, please buy this one. This is easily the best one, especially in this deck, because the Cybers lock doesn't matter. Access code is the Cybers, and it can attack twice, and it clears your board. Going second, you just clear your opponent's board and kill them by attacking twice. Easily the best generic Link 4 right now, I would say. Yeah, you need to play this card. Don't play the deck without this card. You absolutely need to. Please spend your gems. At least get one copy. You can play 2 in this deck. You don't necessarily need to. I wouldn't if it's a budget. If you want to focus really hardcore on the budget, just play 1. But sometimes you can play 2. But you absolutely need access code. Then we have Dark Templar. This combos with Dark Infant to special summon as many Ignister monsters from the graveyard as possible. And the destruction effect doesn't really matter too much, but it requires 3 monsters with different names. It's a Cybers. Yeah, it's part of your combo. It can summon access code 2 with Dark Infant. Dark Infant will move itself as Chainlink 2, Dark Templar as Chainlink 1. So Infant will move to whatever zone it points to the left, and then you can special summon 3 Ignister monsters. You get a Link 4 at least, just off of that, or a Link 3, Link 2, whatever you want. Very strong card, but you only need 1. And it is an Ultra. Again, you do need it for this deck. You do have to get at least the 1 Ultra. Fire Phoenix, I won't talk about too much. You just play it because it's a 2300 Fire Link 3, which you use with your IMU. That's all, really. If you had Heat Soul, you could play that instead, but this card will probably come up more often anyway. But yeah, you just need the Fire Phoenix. Unfortunately, it sucks because you don't really summon it at all, but yeah, you need it for IMU. And then finally, we have the Arrival Cybers, your Link 6, and it requires 3+ monsters with different attributes. It can attack twice. Sometimes, if it's unaffected by card effects, won't really happen. But yeah, original attribute or original attack becomes 1,000 times the number of Link material. If you use 6 monsters, it'll have 6k attack. Usually you'll summon it with 3 or 4 monsters, and it's unaffected, and then you can also just target another monster in the field once per turn, destroy it, and special a token. Very strong effect. Usually if you're going first, if your opponent forces you to go first, just summon this turn 1, and then just sit on that, and then pray that that's the best card, or that they can't out it, that they can't attack over it, anything like that. But yeah, that is the budget Ignister deck profile. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section below. Again, we're going to push out even more budget deck content. We're also going to have extra budget meta staples that you need for each rarity, rare, super rare, ultra rare, etc. We're going to have replays for this later on. Let me know what you guys think. Again, if you liked it, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, this is Eric with OzoneTCG. I'll see you in the next one.